Long ago, in the early years of the Second Age, the great elven smiths forged rings of power, 9 for mortal men, 7 for the dwarf lords, 3 for the tall elf kings. But then the Dark Lord learned the craft of ring making and made the Master Ring, the one ring to rule them all. With the one ring, Middle-earth's his, and he cannot be overcome. As the last alliance of men and elves fell beneath his power, he did not notice the heroic shadow who slipped in. It was Prince Isildur of the mighty kings from across the sea who took the ring. But because he did not destroy it, the spirit of the Dark Lord lived on and began to take shape and grow again. But the ring had a will of his own and a way of slipping from one hand to be found by another so that it might at last get back to its master. And there the ring lay at the bottom of the great river Anduin for thousands of years. During those years, the Dark Lord captured the 9 rings that were made for men and turned their owners into the ring wraiths, terrible shadows under his great shadow, who roamed the world, searching for the one ring. In time, the ring was found. 2 friends were fishing in the great river one day.
Give us that, Eagle, my love.
Why, Smeagol?
Because it's my birthday, my love, and I want it.
I have already given you more than I could afford. I found this, and I'm going to keep it.
Oh, are you indeed, my love?
He used the ring for thieving and to find out secrets. His own people began to despise the wretched creature, to call him Gollum. Tortured and driven by the ring, he hid in dark caves and a deep mountain. But the ring slipped off Gollum's finger too. And so it was that Bilbo found it during his travels with the dwarves.
Thief, Baggins! Thief! It stole our precious birthday present. Thief, Baggins! We hates it forever! We hates it forever!
It was Bilbo Baggins, the Hobbit, who took the ring back to the Shire, his home. Years later, Gandalf the wizard visited Bilbo on his going-away birthday party.
The world is changed. I feel it in the water. I feel it in the earth. I smell it in the air. Much that once was is lost, for none now live who remember it. It began with the forging of the great rings. 3 were given to the elves, immortal, wisest and fairest of all beings. 7 to the dwarf lords, great miners and craftsmen of the mountain halls. And 9 rings were gifted to the race of men who above all else desire power. For within these rings was bound the strength and will to govern each race. But they were all of them deceived, for another ring was made. In the land of Mordor, in the fires of Mount Doom, the Dark Lord Sauron forged in secret a master ring to control all others. And into this ring he poured his cruelty, his malice, and his will to dominate all life. One ring to rule them all. One by one, the free lands of Middle-earth fell to the power of the ring. But there were some who resisted. A last alliance of men and elves marched against the armies of Mordor, and on the slopes of Mount Doom, they fought for the freedom of Middle-earth. Victory was near. But the power of the ring could not be undone. It was in this moment, when all hope had faded, that Isildur, son of the king, took up his father's sword. Sauron, the enemy of the free peoples of Middle-earth, was defeated. The ring passed to Isildur, who had this one chance to destroy evil forever. But the hearts of men are easily corrupted, and the Ring of Power has a will of its own. It betrayed Isildur to his death. And some things that should not have been forgotten were lost. History became legend. Legend became myth. And for 2,500 years, the ring passed out of all knowledge. Until, when chance came, it ensnared a new bearer. The ring came to the creature Gollum, who took it deep into the tunnels of the misty mountains. And there, it consumed him.
It came to me. My love.
The ring brought to Gollum unnatural long life. For 500 years it poisoned his mind. And in the gloom of Gollum's cave, it waited. Darkness crept back into the forests of the world. Rumor grew of a shadow in the east, whispers of a nameless fear, and the ring of power perceived. Its time had now come. It abandoned Gollum. But something happened then the ring did not intend. It was picked up by the most unlikely creature imaginable.
What's this?
A hobbit. Bilbo Baggins of the Shire.
A ring.
For the time will soon come when hobbits will shape the fortunes of all.
My dear Frodo. You asked me once if I had told you everything there was to know about my adventures. And while I can honestly say I have told you the truth, I may not have told you all of it. I am old now, Frodo. I'm not the same hobbit I once was. I think it is time for you to know what really happened. It began long ago, in a land far away to the east, the like of which you will not find in the world today. There was the city of Dale, its markets known far and wide, full of the bounties of vine and vale, peaceful and prosperous. For this city lay before the doors of the greatest kingdom in Middle-earth, Erebor, stronghold of Thrall, king under the mountain, mightiest of the dwarf lords. Thrall ruled with utter surety, never doubting his house would endure, for his line lay secure in the lives of his son and grandson. Ah, Frodo, Erebor. Built deep within the mountain itself, the beauty of this fortress city was legend. Its wealth lay in the earth, in precious gems hewn from rock, and in great seams of gold, running like rivers through stone. The skill of the dwarves was unequaled, fashioning objects of great beauty out of diamond, emerald, ruby, and sapphire. Ever they delved deeper, down into the dark. And that is where they found it. The heart of the mountain. The Arkenstone. Thror named it the King's Jewel. He took it as a sign that his right to rule was divine. All would pay homage to him, even the great elven king, Thranduil. As the great wealth of the dwarves grew, their store of goodwill ran thin. No one knows exactly what began the rift. The elves say the dwarves stole their treasure. The dwarves tell another tale. They say the elf king refused to give them their rightful pay. It is sad, Frodo, how old alliances can be broken, how friendships between peoples can be lost. And for what? Slowly the days turned sour, and the watchful nights closed in. Thror's love of gold had grown too fierce. A sickness had begun to grow within him. It was a sickness of the mind. And where sickness thrives, bad things will follow. The first they heard was a noise like a hurricane coming down from the north. The pines on the mountain creaked and cracked in the hot, dry wind.
Violet, sound the alarm. Call out the guard. Do it now!
What is it?
Dragon! Dragon!
He was a fire drake from the north. Smaug had come. Such wanton death was dealt that day. For this city of men was nothing to Smaug. His eye was set on another prize. For dragons covered gold with a dark and fierce desire. Was lost. For a dragon will guard his plunder as long as he lives.
Run for your lives! Help us!
Thranduil would not risk the lives of his kin against the wrath of the dragon. No help came from the elves that day, nor any day since. Robbed of their homeland, the dwarves of Erebor wandered the wilderness, a once mighty people brought low. The young dwarf prince took work where he could find it, laboring in the villages of men. But always he remembered the mountain smoke beneath the moon, the trees like torches blazing bright, for he had seen dragonfire in the sky, and a city turned to ash. And he never forgave, and he never forgot. Far away, in another corner of the world, dragons were only make-believe. A party trick conjured by wizards on Midsummer's Eve. No more frightening than fairy dust. And that, my dear Frodo, is where I come in.
Bilbo!
It was the beginning of an unlikely friendship that has lasted all my life.
Nothing is evil in the beginning. And there was a time when the world was so young, there had not yet been a sunrise. But even then, there was light.
Well, is it finished yet? Even you couldn't possibly believe their old scrap would float.
It's not going to float. It's going to sail.
I told you it wouldn't float. Get off me!
Lose your footing again, Galadriel.
It was a good ship, sister.
I made it just as you taught me.
Do you know why a ship floats and a stone cannot? Because the stone sees only downward. The darkness of the water is vast and irresistible. The ship feels the darkness as well, striving moment by moment to master her and pull her under. But the ship has a secret. For unlike the stone, her gaze is not downward but up, fixed upon the light that guides her, whispering of grander things than darkness ever knew.
But sometimes, the lights shine just as brightly reflected in the water as they do in the sky. It's hard to say which way is up and which way is down. How am I to know which lights to follow? But that seems so simple.
The most important truths often are. But you must learn to discern them for yourself. I won't always be here to speak them to you.
You won't?
Come along. Mother and Father are waiting.
We had no word for death, for we thought our joys would be unending. We thought our light would never dim. So when the great foe Morgoth destroyed the very light of our home, we resisted. and a legion of elves went to war. We left Valinor, our home, and journeyed to a distant realm, one filled with untold perils and strange creatures beyond count, a place known as Middle-earth. They said it would be over quickly. But the war left Middle-earth in ruin. And would last centuries. Now, we learned many words for death. In the end, Morgoth would be defeated, but not before much sorrow. For his orcs had spread to every corner of Middle-earth, multiplying ever greater under the command of his most devoted servant, a cruel and cunning sorcerer. They called him Sauron. My brother vowed to seek him out and destroy him. But Sauron found him first, and marked his flesh with a symbol. One whose meaning even our wisest could not discern. And there, in the darkness, his vow became mine. And so, we hunted. To the ends of the earth, we hunted Sauron. But the trail grew thin. Year gave way to year. Century gave way to century. And for many elves, the pain of those days passed out of thought and mind. More and more of our kind began to believe that Sauron was but a memory, and the threat, at last, was ended. I wish I could be one of them.